Welcome to Classroom Assessment. The ultimate goal for teachers is student achievement. We use assessment data to determine student progress. The ultimate goal for mentors and CTGs is to support teachers. In this vodcast, we will provide mentors with data analysis material and suggest ways for mentees to use data to improve instruction. Make plans for this during one of the collaborative reflection log conversations. As mentors and CTGs, you can plan for this whether you're working with a first, second, or third year teacher. The plan is to provide the mentor with conversation prompts to help the teacher become more proficient in the use of data for classroom instruction. This can certainly take place during the collaborative reflection log conversations. Mentors should remind teachers that student progress is part of knowing each student. Teachers need to know where the students have been in their learning, where they currently are, and where they're going. What are the goals for the students to demonstrate achievement? First, let's look where the students have been. The teachers should examine each student record to find TAKS scores and determine strengths and weaknesses on each of the TAKS objectives. TAKS is a summative test rather than a formative test. It is designed to provide accountability data and to compare schools and districts. This takes time, but often the CIC will have alphabetical summaries available by grade level or give a quick lesson on accessing student records on systems such as iData Portal. Grade levels or departments will set goals for the campus and collaboratively come up with an action plan that is implemented throughout the year. Individual students should be made aware of weaknesses and plan to attend tutoring sessions if necessary. Does your mentee know the difference between summative and formative tests? As stated on the previous slide, summative tests are important, but they do not contribute to the day-to-day instruction. Nevertheless, they are useful in determining strengths and weaknesses relative to state standards and can be used to address program weaknesses and help set campus goals. There is much preparation for the summative tests in order to help students meet the state standards. Teachers can use the results of summative tests to select and reteach portions of the state-mandated essential elements that students have not yet mastered. This is a team effort where the campus action plan is put into effect after analyzing the TAKS data. This could be reviewing with daily warm-ups, tutorial sessions, class rotations, etc. For instance, if a student did not master a TAKS objective on measurement, plans can be made on how various grade levels or departments can address this weakness. Once again, is your mentee aware of the campus or team plan? Dealing with the results from the TAKS test can be very stressful for a teacher. This is one area where the CTG can be of tremendous help to teachers. The teacher also needs to make students aware of where they're going. What do they need to demonstrate progress on academic achievement? Besides passing the course, students need to also pass the summative tests. Students need to be aware of where they need to go, and the teacher needs to help students become aware of the expectations. This information is usually found on the campus instructional plan and through discussions within the department. How is your mentee making students aware of this expectation? Teachers also need to know where the students are in their everyday learning. How can a teacher know if the lessons have been effective? Formative assessments are given throughout the year. These differ from districts, but can include formative minis, given every 3 weeks, or benchmarks every 9 weeks. Does the teacher have the dates of these tests included in the lesson plans? And finally, how is the teacher using the results of these tests? Remember, the usefulness of these tests depends on how the results are used as a learning tool. The mentor could ask the teacher how the results of the formative exams are being used. Is this woven into the lesson plans? These tests are based on the prescribed curriculum that the teacher is expected to cover. The teacher should be able to explain the low scores due to not covering the material and make plans to catch up before the 9 weeks. This is a most difficult and stressful area for most teachers because they're trying to do a really good job of teaching by using some of the strategies that take a little bit of time. The teacher will need to look at each student's scores individually and as a class to make decisions on the material that needs to be retaught and how to reteach it. If the teacher needs a review on doing an item analysis, practice worksheets are available on the Moodle. After one of the formative tests, the mentor might ask the teacher if corrective activities are needed, and perhaps offer support in coming up with different ways to deliver instruction on the topic. Corrective activities will be effective if they are qualitatively different from the original instruction. This should be stressed. Remind the teacher that if they do the same thing, they will probably get the same results. This can also be a collaborative effort where the teacher might ask a colleague whose class scored higher on a particular item how he taught the material. If the data from the formative assessment indicates that reteaching of a concept is needed, the mentor might review effective corrective activities with the teacher. Effective corrective activities have three characteristics. First, they present concepts differently. Secondly, they engage students differently in learning, considering learning style, modality, or different forms of intelligence. And finally, they provide students with successful learning experiences. Here's an example on different ways to use corrective activities that are different from the original lesson. This chart can be used by the mentor during the discussion for remediation. Gutke suggests that the teacher at first be involved with the corrective or enrichment activities. As the student becomes accustomed to the process and realizes the benefits, the teacher can reduce the class time used for remediation and move towards student-initiated activities. Thank you for the great work that you do with our teachers. Reflect on this vodcast and think about how you will use the information. Thank you.